on.
Okay, in Jesus' name. Our most
Amen.
compassionate God, we say thank you for this moment. We glorify your name and we magnify your name. We say thank you for making possible for us to be among the living ones. We pray that as we've come before this moment, you search our hearts and every falling short of thy glory, ask for forgiveness. I pray that as about to commence with this meeting, we ask for your guidance, for your protection. We pray that you shall bless us with your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, so that at the end of this all, there shall be success and the glory shall be yours in the mighty name of Jesus.
Thank you. Amen. Thank you very much for that prayer. Please, I would like to ask that we meet ourselves if we are not talking, so that we don't have any form of interruptions. Very quickly, I want to, as by way of welcome and introduction, thank everybody for who has made it here for now. We are hoping that more people join because there are a lot of questions that people have already sent in, and it's going to be a very interactive session. We want to thank everybody for coming. This is the 24th edition of the Refined MLS webinar series. And if you check very well, this is also the second year. This makes it complete 2 years we've been running this program. So it's a very big one for us. Want to say special thank you to the past administration that began this idea and to the current administration that is continuing this idea, and to everybody that has been involved in making this a success month after month. It was currently working, and everybody has worked on in the past to ensure that this Refined MLS webinar series continues. We also want to say thank you to our speakers for today. They've been very responsive and they've been on this call from the very start. I want to say thank you to the MLSC and also for listening to our call and giving us the speakers for today. We hope that what they would touch on today and the questions they answer would give us more clarity and more insight to the workings of the council and help us to interact with them better next year. So just before we go into the main session proper, I would like to cede the floor to the National President of MLSF, MLS Jagdes Suleiman, our terrible married man, to give us a brief remark, and then we'll go into the session proper. Mr. President, sir.
All right, thank you very much, my very wonderful and distinguished National Program Director and one of the moderators of today's program. Good evening, everyone. May I start by welcoming each and every one of us, most especially our very esteemed speakers, my very own leader and boss, Dr. Greg Ochuno, aka Jagaban. I greet you, sir. And second speaker of today too, Mr. Ambrose Chike, all the way from the esteemed Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria. I also welcome each and every one of us, all the national ESCOs present, and most especially members that are here today and various branch chairmen of this noble forum. I want to secondly appreciate the management of the Medical Lab Science Council of Nigeria for the support and guidance they have been rendering to this administration right from inception. I want to keep thanking you, and we'll always do our best to keep working in unison and collaboration as far as it connotes the growth, development, and progress of our members, the forum, and by extension, the profession. Like you are aware, the Refined MLS is a program that was innovated by the immediate past administration. And we had it then up to season episode 21, we are 21 or so. And while we came in, this current administration, we also deemed it fit that, yes, it is a good fit that we have to work on, as well as consolidate on it. And a sequel to the courtesy visits that we had with the MLSCN, we were able to have a very good discussion with the management of MLSCN. And like I said, the registrar of MLSCN and his management team has done nothing but been supportive of this administration. You can recall that this topic was actually picked based on the complaints from our members. We have receiving calls from all walks of life, bringing complaints about the MLSCN. However, from our meeting and engagement with the MLSCN, we've deemed it fit that I think it's better that the giant strides that the MLSCN has been doing and the good work, it's better we create a platform to bring in representative of the MLSCN to come and have a tete-a-tete with members of this noble forum and even members of this noble profession. So that is what brokers the reason for picking this topic. And we believe that the MLSN have a very, very good plan for the profession and the forum come 2024. So I want to appreciate my speakers. I want to appreciate my fellow national ESCOs, state ESCOs, and all members that has come for this program. And I want to assure you that these speakers that has been delegated by the MLSCN management, these are persons of proven antecedents, and we believe that they are going to do justice to all our teaming questions that we'll have for them. So on this note, I want to thank you and assure you to just keep your listening ears and possibly keep your barrels on ground, as these persons have all it takes to respond to all our questions. Kindly stay online while you enjoy the 24th edition of the Refined MLS. Thank you very much and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for that very brief and straight to the point opening welcome address. I just want to, before I call on our speakers, I posted the program of activities for today's session earlier, so I'll just repost it for those of us that just joined. Today we will be looking at MLSCN. We want to try to understand better the workings in MLSCN, the new innovations, issues bordering ICT, laboratory registration, licensing, and general workings of MLSCN, so we can better understand how to interact with the council in 2024 and how we can handle issues that might have arose before now and new issues. Just before I call on the first speaker for today, I would just like to let us know that I'll be co-moderating this session with MLS Bright Okolie, who is the branch chairman of MLS of Delta States. MLS Bright, please, can you just briefly say hi so I can call on the first speaker?
Okay, standing on the existing protocol.
Yes, we can hear you.
I want to say good evening to everybody. My president, sir, I greet you. And the noblemen from MLCN, I greet you, sir. And I thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do the co-moderating with our national program director. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, MLS Bright. Good evening, sir. Dr. Greg, good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you loud and clear, sir. How are you doing, sir?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right, sir. Just want to say thank you for today, and I'm going to cede the floor to you for the next 20 minutes or less, depending on how much you have to tell us about the council, what we should know about interacting with the council, what are the new things we should expect, what changes we should expect coming next year, and all of those. So I'm going to mute myself and give you the floor for the next few minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very glad to be with you once again, and thank you for the privilege. The Young Medical Lab Scientist Forum is very dear to the council. Hence, we are always dedicated to ensure that council's presence is well felt at your program. By way of introduction, I am Chuno Gregory. I'm the Director for Scientist Regulation and Discipline. And that has to do with almost everything about scientists and disciplinary actions that could be taken or might be taken against them. If you agree with me, right from time, let's say from 2009, licensure and registration in council has been more or less chaotic. And this has been a problem of manual filing and refiling of documents. Now, ordinarily, when clients, that is you and I, come to the council, but I was also once a client, when we come to the council and we ask for license, our files must be sought. And once our files are found, then we can look into the file and know the person's present status. Now, there are times as human beings that files are misfired. They are misfired, and it takes a while to search out these files. We've tried to make a policy, at least we tried to make a policy at that time, that every 3 months, we bring down all the files, refile, and then try to remove all the files that have been misfired. Now, if you come to the council, you notice that your RA number is not used for your filing. Everybody has a serial cabinet number aside their RA number. And this gives room for misfiling. There are times that instead of using the cabinet number, we use the RA number. It is misused and filed. And there the file is like it's missing. But in actual fact, files are never missing in MLSCS. They are either misfiled or there are times when clients will ask, click, hello, am I getting through?
Yes, you are, sir.
Hello? Okay.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
That files, oh, beautiful, beautiful, yeah. Beautiful. There are times that clients could ask 3 or 4 people to help them do something. And when they now come to perhaps the 5th person to help them, the files can't be found because they are in the hands of those people that they called before. These bring this in our handling of people's requests. Now, since 2022, we tried to move with time and brought in online registration, where we try to synchronize licensure. We started by saying that everybody that wants to come on the portal must pay till 2021. Once you pay till 2021 and you've gotten your license for 2021, then the portal is open for you. Then you go there, you fill your biodata, and you upload your passport picture, which has to be recent, preferably white background. It looks so pure and original. So when we started at this, lots of people fell into line and say, for the first time, ever since we've been a council, we had 10,000 or above that registered on the 2022. Now, once you are registered on the 2022 portal, we are assured that you are in good standing. The next thing was that we now pass out information to our clients that when you are going to pay for your 2023 payment, that should also be done on your portal. Now, if on your portal you pay for your license, After you've paid for your license, the next thing is the people in ICT look through your data, ensure that everything is in line, as your payment is in line with your number of years, and that you have either uploaded or you have sent in your CPD. Once it's done, once that is authenticated, you are verified. The next thing is for you, client, to still go back to your portal and check. Once you see you have been verified, then you go to there's a part of your portal you see pay fees. Beside pay fees, you will see license. You tap on that license and then request for license comes out and you tap on request of license. Once you have tapped on request of license, your license for 2023 shows on the ICT dashboard. Once it shows on the ICT dashboard, your license is immediately picked up and printed. Then you can now go to your portal and you can view your license. And when you view your license, the good thing about it, you can view all your licenses that have been done on the portal. In other words, every license from 2022 to date. Now, it is imperative, all payments must be done on the portal. Now, this is to ensure that licenses are produced on time and in good and within our turnaround time. Normally, when you pay on remitter, your payment does not show on your portal. Your payment has to be sent to the council, then it has to be uploaded. Before it is even uploaded, your payment has to be audited. Now, these are going through different sections in the council, and these various sections that they are going through are adding to the delay. But if your payment is done on your portal, there will be no need to verify because everything is through the system. Now, there are times where people make payments. In times past, clients make payments, and at times in connivance with staff, they make payments, they make supposed payments. They could even raise invoices without paying and send it to the council. Now, council lost a lot of funds during that period. So we had to come up with the issue of verification, which now added so much time to the processing of license. But once you now pay on your portal, there will be no need to verify. It is all within the system, and it immediately goes to licensure. Another problem that we had in handling license is that in as much as I'm not really supposed to be handling licenses directly. I have staff under me that are doing that. But in order to satisfy customers, I was able to start taking requests, especially from young medical lab scientists. I think Koda will be able to verify that. I started taking requests from young medical lab scientists in order to alleviate the suffering of those of our colleagues that were going for youth service. Now, it is imperative again to tell our youth corps that in the youth service, they have different tranches or sets that go for this service. Our youth corps should please try not to be in a hurry to go to camp. Before you go to camp, please and please get your license hard copy with you. And this is going to be easily done, especially in 2024, because everything will be done on your portal. Once you fill your portal, once you pay on your portal, your and you request your license is there, soft copy. Once you see your soft copy, the next thing again is to be assured that your license will immediately be printed. What we have said, what we have done now is that any license that is printed will immediately be scanned to the email that you have given the council when you were filling your portal. I'm sure that you will testify to it. If you look through your portal, you will see your 2023 licenses have been scanned to your, not your portal, they have been scanned to your email. Now we have told the youth service in our varied meetings we have had with them that this is acceptable to the council. Soft copy of your signed license, not soft copy that appears on the portal. No, the soft copy that appears on the portal is only for 1 month. The youth service, National Youth Service, does not agree with that because their program is for 1 year. So it is only that. Now we've had a few problems this year in that the National Youth Service directors are becoming a little bit overzealous and they're now asking for registration letters. Throughout this period that they've been going for youth service, I have been trying to interface with the director of co-mobilization almost on a daily basis. We text ourselves and we try to solve the problem. So anybody that had a problem where the directors in their state were asking for registration letters were later on told to drop that. It is pleasing to say that I think that this particular tranche of youth corporate has been our smoothest one so far. This new innovation, we should understand, we always have hiccups. But as we go along, we will make it smooth. Finally, I would like to say that clients should try and understand certain things. My work hours are from 8 to 4. I will not expect anybody to call me before 8 or to call me after 4. You find a lot of our colleagues that even call me around 11 p.m. They call me very, very odd hours. I think this is not very fair. Again, if a colleague calls me, because people always give people my number, if a colleague calls me and asks me to do certain things for him, I will expect that there should be an immediate follow-up. Once I tell you this, you do it, you tell me you have done it. It's not when I ask you to do this, I won't hear from you for 1 week, 2 weeks. And then when you call, you say, hey, I was the one that called 2 weeks ago. How in heavens am I supposed to know you're the one that called when so many people are calling? So these are the hiccups that we have. So if we can understand this thing, I'm sure our processes will be history. I think I will leave it there. The interactive session will take care of other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was very brief and straight to the point. Just before the interactive sessions, I would like to call on Mr. Ambrose, Mr. Chike Ambrose, the head of ICT at Council, to just briefly talk to us about the ICT at Council. Dr. Greg talked about the portal and all of those things. So just for us to get a better understanding, I would like Mr. Ambrose just briefly talk to us about the ICT, how the ICT works. And then I think when we were at Council, we talked about how MLSN has recently just begun a register for labs where you can check if a lab is registered with MLSN. So beyond the licensure, the ICT aspect of it on the portal, we can also throw more light on that also. That would be nice. And then we would, after his presentation, go into the interactive session. So Mr. Ambrose, sir, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
good
name
evening,
is
sir.
good evening. My name is Ambrose Chike, and I head the ICT unit of council. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. At least most of us, I know we're having many questions to ask, and we'll get to the questions and possibly see how we resolve most of your challenges and queries. I know in the course of over time, some of you have been one way or the other reached out to me regarding questions or challenges you've been having. Council processes has always been a little bit cumbersome. When we started, we've always been heavily manualistic. Everything has been hard copies, files, things move, and we see the challenges that are there. Sometime 2012, 2013, we tried to automate, but we had challenges, obviously, because of the peculiarities of our operations and how we do things here. That wasn't very successful, so we hit a brick wall. We had to re-engineer our approach to it, and we started off by trying to automate the process for licensure because that was what affected most of the practitioners' licensure. And Mr. Greg has dwelt so much on it. We now have a license portal to try to automate the process so that people at least cut the time people need to put in to get their license, from payments, query regarding their billing, regarding the request for license, the license how it comes out, how do they get it, how do people also verify that the license that they're getting is correct, and when they present these licenses, how do they verify that it's actually correct, and how do we track how our practitioners are actually also are coming for their licenses, who are the people who are getting the licenses, all those questions, and for purpose of data and purpose of every analytics as comes to it. So that was the goal we tried to push for when we're doing the license portal. Okay, so with the success recorded there, with these pertinent challenges which we are trying to solve, we now started looking at avenues where we could also automate, because automation is the key, is the way forward. We are in the digitally run environment and age, so everybody has a phone. So why do we cut the stress people go through when they want to interact with council or do things? Eliminate the middleman in the whole process so that you don't have to get into talking to people or being put yourself in a position where you have to part with some money for yourself and all that. So all those we're trying to see how we bring in, and we identified quite a couple. Like the last speaker just spoke, when they came to council, we told them we're automating laboratory registration also and licensing. So if you want to, the portal is live, but not very publicized now, which we are in the process of trying to get everybody on. So if you considering and registering your lab or floating a new lab, you do that on the portal. You go to the portal and make payments there, upload your details and all that. So all those things are things you do, and we follow through. At the end of the day, you get your license for the lab. Okay, and also when you're being licensed, we know the assays that we license you for, and we can also categorize the kind of labs that you are, the kind of the category of lab that your lab is going to fall into. Are you going to be a class A, class B, as the case may be? And also we could also expose that information to the general public as part of marketing. So if someone comes into, say, Lagos, for instance, he wants to know which are the labs council registered and council recognizes and are operational. We provide a means, there's a mobile app that can show where those labs are, and you could actually say, oh, because of this, I want to run this test. The labs around where in my vicinity, where are they and what is involved? So you could actually, from looking at the phone or going to the portal, landing page, you could see, oh, these labs are here, I can walk in there and do those things. So you don't have to be a victim of quackery, as the case may be. Those are possibilities that are there for the labs. So, and also council also information regarding the labs. Who are the people behind it? Who their CAC registration and everything integrated. So that we have one seamless operation and workflow from the laboratory registration, who and the annual retention, the knowing where they are and the assays and the managing their that's the regime of laboratory assays that can be done on those labs. So the portal provides that information. So that's one. And also we have a second portal because we're trying to. It used to be run by an international company for the EQA. Okay, so it's a sister component of the labs because in as much as you've registered your labs, we council wants to make sure that the quality of results that come out of there meets the standard. Okay, and you do that by regularly encouraging everybody. Okay, it's supposed to be a voluntary thing, but people are encouraged because it counts towards your recognition as one who complies with quality and the results. And so we encourage labs to sign up for the EQA. So we have the EQA portal that manages the whole entire process for EQA administration, panel send out, results collection, panel, the reporting and the analytics that comes with it, as well as post the EQA run activities to know how we could do corrective action regarding all that. So that portal also is still there, still being. I think we're going to publicize it widely to the 2024 that we are entering. And there is another one that is coming up. I mentioned it to the team when they came. We've not publicized it yet, but it will actually be heavy in 2022. It's more like people have challenges. It's going to provide a bridge between our practitioners, between the labs, between the schools, and between every other person who has queries. So we are trying as much as possible to eliminate the middleman in the whole process. So we'll be floating an interactive portal, okay, where if you have query, you just go sign up on the portal, and your queries, you present them. Your queries ranging from your license queries, your the school queries, anything regarding it, it will come under your as an entry in your under your username, okay, which we encourage you to sign up to your details regarding your RA, your RF, and all that, your registration information, so that when you raise this information, we can, within every department, every unit in council will be on that platform, and your queries will be routed accordingly. So sometimes your queries span beyond one department or one unit, but you might not know. If you're talking about license, for instance, license spans depends on how the license is done. We are encouraging everybody to do your license on the portal so that we eliminate those file movement across the place. But if you were settling old license, old bills, we have to look at audit account is involved in it. Records first is involved in it to tell you your bill, how much you're supposed to pay. Then when you make your payments, accounting involved in it to make sure that the payment was done properly on the proper heads. Audits will make sure that the payment actually went through successfully. Okay. Then before it now gets back to the PRD for them to now start checking and preparing the license, before it gets to ICC to print the license, before it gets to Oga, that's registrar, to sign the license and bring it down back to registration for them to now start sending the licenses out for you to pick up or something. So you see the whole picture of it moves around people. So, but on that platform, everybody is there. So when you raise your query and we identify that, okay, this query spans beyond this. So we route it between the departments transparently, because you'll be seeing where how far, like moving your files, you see where your file is, who is handling it. And we could also know how long your query has been on the platform. If your query it's on the platform for so long, we could now query, probably ask questions. Why is this person's query that was entered why did it spend so long here? And it could expedite action on it. Okay. And it will be like a back and forth thing. So when you raise your query or you pose your question and your challenge, we look at it. If we need to get back to you, we get back to you, there you and tell you, oh, upload this document, you upload it on the same platform. And when you upload on the same platform, we pick it up, we continue. If you need to go to the next department, they pick it up there, work on it, and you also get to see, oh, this is done. And when everything is settled, we know that it's done, and that's the query end. When you want to raise another query, you go back. So the idea is to eliminate, because traditionally you will send mail. And when you send mail, you know the problem with mails. Okay, sometimes the mail bounces, sometimes you send the wrong, the mail doesn't get seen, or it gets swamped in other mails. Okay, and most times forwarding mails from one person to the other, we have the challenges, and the mails become so inundated just because of one issue. And some people also have the habit of sending more than one mail for one thing. And so you don't even know which, and the mails most times are incomplete. You might send a query, you don't send your RA, you just send, oh, my name is so I have a problem with my license, and that's just what's inside the mail. There is no content inside, there is no evidence of payments inside, there is nothing, no information in, and it's difficult. And we'll respond sometimes to those mails, and nobody really gets to follow up or do anything regarding it. So those are challenges we have using those systems. That's why this platform is coming up. And I hope when we fully begin to onboard it by first quarter of next year, most of the challenges we are having will be clearer, and we'll be able to serve you guys better. And everybody will be happy for it. So those are where we are for now. Other things will still be there. We are still considering all council operations. It's just going to take time. It will be automated. That's the way. That's the ideology we have. We're going to automate them. We're just running them out piecemeal by piecemeal. So everything that council is doing is going to be, we're going to automate as possible, so that we eliminate all those middlemen and reduce the chances for people to suffer whatever delays and every other thing that might accompany it, while we also make these things faster for everybody. So I think maybe I'll be done for now. If we have issues, I'll be happy to respond during the interactive session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. Just briefly, if it's possible to share, you talked about the lab registration portal, the mobile app, the EQA portal, and the queries portal. I don't think the queries portal is live yet, but from what I know the lab registration portal is live. And I think from what they said, the EQA portal is live. So if it's possible for us to get the links to those portals, maybe you can drop them in the chat box. So that will really help us a lot. Okay. Moving on, while I wait for Mr. Ambrose, moving on, we are going to go straight into the interactive session. I'm going to moderate the session alongside MLS Brighto Collier. So what we're going to do is that before now we asked if you have any questions, you should send them. We got a number of questions. I think we've gotten about 12 questions or thereabout. But the chat box is open. So if you have any questions as pertaining to what has been shared during the session, or as pertaining to an issue or a query or a concern you have about the workings of council before now, please just drop them in the chat box. We would do our best to take as many questions as possible. We have about 50 minutes or so to attend to these questions. So we'll do our best to take as many questions as possible. So please do us to drop them in the chat box, and we'll get them from there and ask the speakers. We'll start with the ones we already have, and then we'll proceed to the ones that come into the chat box as we go on. So I'll ask the first question, and I'm going to direct the question to Dr. Greg. So the first question we have is from the MLS Retirees platform. The question is, what is the possibility of renewing licenses by chapters? So that is like asking for the option of group renewals as an alternative, or side-by-side individual online renewals. And then I feel the second part of the question is for, I'm not very sure, but I'll ask and then I'll get clarity from Mr. Greg. Also, what is the possibility of reducing retirees association dues for those 60s and above? So the possibility of renewing licenses by chapters, and then also the possibility of reduction of retirees dues. So, Mr. Greg, sir, please, if you don't mind, can you attend to this question while we get the second one from Bright when you're done?
Thank you very much. It will be my pleasure to do that. People paying by chapters may not be suitable in that everybody is supposed to pay via their own portal. Now, if we're still in the manual region, then bulk payment could be made with varied names sent to the council, and these will be placed in individual files. In other words, there will be successive photocopying of names, and this will be placed in different files with the same payment, so that as you open the file, you see that, okay, these people paid bulk payment here or there. That was possible. But now, it is incumbent on every person that is on the portal to do their payment themselves. Once your payment is done yourself, it appears on your portal. And this makes life easier and preparation of licenses quicker. The era of bulk payment no longer exists. Now, for retiree license, it is my pleasure to even say that we have reduced the amount that retirees pay. This has been going on for more than 2 years. Perhaps it's not been publicized, but so many people have taken advantage of it. What council believes is that once you attain the age or the period that is given to you in government to retire, irrespective of what you are doing after that time, you are a retiree. So take, for instance, if you are finished from the civil service and you have attained the age of 60, or you have worked for 35 years, or in the case of professor, you are 70, or the case of other lecturers, you have attained the age of 65, you are eligible to become a retiree on the council portal, irrespective of the fact that you may still be working. That council looks at it as God's grace to you. He has given you strength to still work. Now, every retiree is expected to inform the council that they have been retired. And this is done by sending in your retiree letter and your birth certificate or your age declaration. This helps us to know where you're coming from. And as soon as that is assessed, a letter is written to you telling you that you have been granted retiree access. Now, every retiree pays a total of 3,000 naira. And that's 3,000 naira, irrespective of when it's paid. At any point in time in the year or after that year, it does not attract penalty. So in other words, if you haven't paid for 2024 and you pay for 2024 in 2025, you will still pay that 3,000 naira. There is no increment. Nobody asks you for CPD or any other fee. So this is what we do. And we have gone ahead to also place these things on the retiree portal. So it is done on an individual basis. As you apply and we check and if you are eligible, we now place you on that portal as such. So that when you go to your portal and you want to pay online, what comes out there is 3,000 naira and you pay. So if you have retired and you do not inform the council that you are a retiree, there is no how that you can access that retiree status on your portal. It is incumbent on you to inform the council that you are a retiree. I hope and pray that this answers the question, but I'm still available to throw more light. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I believe the question has been answered. I feel the first part of the question was because most of the people in that category are old and may not be very, very tech savvy as to navigating the portal. So that's why they're asking for the option of, say, group registrations by renewal by their chapters. So I don't know, for people who may have been are a bit advanced in age that may not be very tech savvy. Is there a way that council can, as a follow-up question to the first one, is there a way that council can come in, maybe create a special desk for them or something to assist them in renewals, so it's a seamless process for them?
Thank you. You see, what we are trying to achieve is we're trying to reduce client interaction with council staff. This is born out of what we have experienced over the years. Now, if we create that kind of desk, we're also creating bureaucracy. And this kind of bureaucracy leads to extortion and double payment. It is very important that we avoid going down that road. Now, what I would suggest is that any retiree, yes, we know it's difficult to start learning, teaching an old dog new tricks. When it is time for payment, the retiree can always get somebody, son, the daughter, cousin, an uncle, a friend, to do these things for you. It is not, it doesn't take time. This is something that can be done in little time. And remember, even if they don't do it that year, they can do it the next year. There will be no penalty. So these are the things that we have tried to do. We are not really, we do not really want a situation where we are belaboring or heaping burdens on our retirees. No. But when it comes to group payment, you have to understand that that kind of group payment will circumvent the portal. We want a situation where everybody has his own page. And once you have your own page and you pay on your own page, immediately it appears on your page that this person has paid for this year and that this license has not been printed. Then on that same page, you see why it has not been printed. Is it that the person hasn't requested for his license, or is it that council hasn't verified his page? You see, this makes life much easier. But as we go on with this, what you have brought up, we can still look and see, because I am not really a tech person as such. It's not as if I don't know how to use the portal, but I'm not really a tech person. Perhaps Ambrose will be able to sit down with us and look into that, and I don't know, we might be able to fashion out something for our retirees. But for now, this is the council feels that this is the way to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Greg, for answering the questions. I was just waiting for you to explain it, even if not from a tech point, but probably from an operations point, how it goes. The way the portal is designed, right? The portal is designed personalized, so there's no consideration or no currently assistance for group grouping or group payment or group activities. Okay, so the portal doesn't allow you to pay for someone. Okay, you only come in and make payments for yourself. And the way the thing is, so like the portal automatically bills you based on your years of experience and the card that you're on. So by January 1st, you get your bill. So somebody who was asking if they can get licenses in January, yes. Once you settle your payment and you meet your commitment regarding CPD, you request for your license from January 1st. You will get your license, okay, and you use it to do what you do. But based on because of this peculiarity, people have been getting their children to help them make the payments for them, or get their license done. Okay, we encourage people to make the payment on the portal, not on remitter, okay, or outside, because that will not add the extra head, like you mentioned earlier, or someone needed to verify those things. And we are trying to cut all those verification or somebody having to go through those steps just to confirm something that will have been done on the portal itself. But based on what you've said, we could look at the possibility for that category of people. I just hope everybody will not come under it to say they want to pay as a group because that will be defeating the purpose of personalizing things. Your license is personal to you. Each person, even if you're paying as a group, most times they don't qualify at the same time. There are different payments involved. Somebody is paying 7,000, somebody is paying 8,000. You cannot really, and this wasn't qualified this year, the other person qualified the other month. A lot of times there are dissimilarities in it. So it's better you isolate them and do them the way it is. But for the category of retirees, we could consider a group payment, or maybe you want to pay for your teacher, or you want to pay for your mentor or something. We could consider that where you make payments for someone, but it has to be restricted to just those category of people who we know that they're not going to be paying for penalty, they're not going to be paying for any other thing, they're only going to be paying that statutory fee for their retiree. It's fixed and all that. We consider that as an update on upgrade we're doing to the system. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, sir. MLS Bright, please, can you ask the next question?
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, sir. This question is to Dr. Gregory. Sir, please, what modality does MLSPN use in the inspection of government facilities, and what is the duration between these said inspections, sir? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, right?
Hello, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear you. I was just having some challenges with unmuting myself. Now, if I get your question right, you're asking that in the duration, in the course of inspecting a laboratory,
yes, sir.
How long does it take us to revisit that lab and to ensure that compliance is being adhered to? Was that the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now,
particularly for government establishments.
Facility, yes, sir.
Okay. You will. Okay, let's flow together. First and foremost, every government establishment is headed by a medical doctor. And a medical doctor doesn't ever want you as a medical lab scientist, to superintend over what he is doing. Most of the time, this is done because they don't want to be corrected or to be put on the right path. Unfortunately, they are the head of Federal Ministry of Health. They are the ministers in the regime. So it becomes extremely difficult to inspect places that medical doctors are in charge. However, over the years, we've tried to see how we can advocate, enlighten, and soothe this process. Now, prior to this time, when maybe around that 2010 to 2016, we became highly militarized, right? In other words, when we were going on inspection, we used to go with almost all arms of security. So we went with SSS, we went with police, we went with soldiers, and I think at that point in time, we might have gotten it wrong because we were really looking like a bunch of thugs that were going on raid. So in 2017, we had to sit down with the ministry to draw up a protocol for inspection, which it took almost a year to be approved. Now, by the time it was approved, we put it into action. Now, you will agree with me that it takes personal sacrifice and patience to get across to these people. When I was inspected, I'll give you a typical example, true life story, if you don't mind. I went to do inspection of laboratories in Port Harcourt. And when we went to Bonny Island, when I went to Bonny Island, as far as Bonny Island, we got to the lab that the doctor owned. And I inspected the lab. I found out that biochemists were managing his lab. Unfortunately or unfortunately, this biochemist was his daughter. So when I got there, checked her out, I got her arrested and put her in our box so that we can go and prosecute her. And there were policemen with us. And by the time the doctor came out, he just walked straight to our car and collected the lady from the car. And I told the police, arrest this man along with this woman. And the policeman told me, he said, that's not how we do here. Go and discuss with him, and blah, 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 blah. Typical Nigerian attitude. These are the things that we face while we are inspecting. Time and again, we inspect doctors' labs, especially those that really want to instill quality in their lab. I've also had experiences where doctors, while we're on inspection, they try to find out our numbers and place calls to us. Please, I have the lab institution at this. Please come and inspect it and give me its standard. And we gladly do that. So those are the ones that want to really aid in their own professionalism. You find out that most of the time, the worst labs that we have in Nigeria are site labs of clinics. They don't have equipment, they don't have expertise. They use anybody and they practice all manners of cannibalism, if I can put it that way. In that lab, ordinarily, they won't want you to see. So they bring out that facade and create a lot of problems. The last time in 2016, when we were doing it, when the inspection was going on in Lagos, there were a lot of reports going out. The MLSN is closing labs of doctors, blah, blah, blah. And then what happened? The ministry wrote and said, stop all inspection and come back and discuss. We are a parastatal of the Ministry of Health. And it shouldn't be seen that we are adherent to the Ministry of Health. But I'm sure as time goes on, with the shout and the hue and cry for quality, this will become a thing of the past. However, this thing is step after step. Thank you very much.
All right. So just as a follow up to that, let me just ask this. So, for labs where they are pathologists, mostly in histopathology labs. Is there any does MLSN have any control, or does MLSN have any level of regulation over these pathologists in this kind of labs?
Ordinary, and by the law, MLSN has total oversight over any lab, because any laboratory that is operational in Nigeria, I'm talking from the point of what should happen. Any lab in Nigeria must be manned by a medical lab scientist. We don't have any oversight over what pathologists do in their own profession. That is it. But when it comes to practice of laboratory science, of course, medical lab scientists by the law has oversight. Now, let us not think that we cannot do this thing by force. But you can imagine the kind of chaos that will ensue. And the doctors know pretty well that they have a lot of leverage with the Ministry of Health. So one has to be very circumspect when you're doing this. But it is worthy to note that every lab falls under the regulatory power of medical lab.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. This question is also directed to you, sir. What are the plans in place by council to address the issues of MLT as regards the planned frame of public service due to their unclassified certificates, sir?
Thank you. This actually is a question that should be directed to Department of Education. However, we have this open parallel ground where we always interface with the department. So I can say a little on it. Sometime last year, the HOS, that is the head of service, came out with a circular that the MLT certificate will no longer be employable in government circle. Once that happened, MLSN quickly swung into action, and we started writing and advocating. We've tried to explain to HOS, and we have gone quite a long way, that ours is a professional certificate. Now, the MLT themselves, because of their, I guess, apprehension, refused to be a little bit patient. So they started entering talks with NBT, the National Board for Technical Education, where they were trying to negotiate a certificate of HND or OND. But council refused, knowing full well that the certificate that they have, like our own certificate of associate of medical lab, is a professional certificate. It's not a HND or ND. And you notice that in most polytechnics, all polytechnics, except some shady ones, you can never have the training of MLT in those schools. So we have gone quite a long way with relating with the HOS. And if not for some setbacks, which I won't want to go too deeply into, there's some setbacks. And this has been due to some hitches within. We have gone a long way to smoothing out this bottleneck. So I don't think that in the long run this problem will persist. It's the same thing that happened when MLSCN, when the board, in their own magnanimity, ceded 20 positions in every university to MLC so that they can further their courses and become medical lab scientists. JAM also, because the HOS said that this certificate can no longer be employed, JAM also scrapped that leeway. We have also extended our advocacy to JAM, and in no distant future, this thing takes time, but in no distant future, everything that seemed insoluble will be soluble. So before long, I'm sure we'll be home and dry. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So this other question, like you said, it should normally go to the education department, but since we do not have someone for the education department, I think we'll get the answer we can get from you, and then maybe in the near future, we'll probably get someone from that department to also throw more light on some other things. So the question is on the issue of the proliferation of universities offering MLS and College of Health offering MLT programs. That where sometimes we notice the person who sent the question say they've noticed that these places sometimes do not have substantial staff, teaching staff, to float these programs. So the person who wants to find out what plan does council have to address such proliferations, because the education system in Nigeria, NUC and council have to both accredit, and then sometimes NUC accredits a program in a school and then council does not accredit, and there are issues after that. So what plans does council put in place? What modalities are they put in place to ensure that we don't have such issues where we have schools that just begin, let's say, an MLS program without enough staff, and then we now have students that are stranded in the future because of accreditation from council and things like that?
Thank you very much. Please, be rest assured that whether the question comes from education or not, I will be able to handle it. So we will try and go ahead. Now, yes, I agree with you that universities and schools of health tech that offer MLT are proliferating. But the challenge with this is the law. Our law states that we shall open schools of health tech as they come in. So in the last board, we had a session. The registrar had a session with them and tried to plead that we should slow down the process of registration of schools of health tech. However, the board cited the law and said, you can't stop opening schools of health tech. The only thing you can do is to up your own game, that is, make it more difficult for schools of health tech to get registration. So as at early this year, late last year, early this year, we had to review our checklist. And in reviewing our checklist, we have added some certain things that will make it more difficult to open new labs, new schools of health tech, and at the same time, make it also more difficult for these things to proliferate. But let's ask ourselves a pertinent question. Which people aid the opening of schools of health tech? The answer is medical lab scientists. They are the people that fraud. They front for these people. They are the people that go and tell these people, you can open up this thing. And then they go there. And then they act like lecturers. You see that when we go on accreditation of schools of health tech, you find out that medical lab science that are working in 5, 6 places also act as agents there. And that is why it has now become very pertinent that we digitalize, so that when we go on this accreditation, we can go and easily dig into our portal and know where these people are working. If you notice on your portal, you are supposed to fill all these details. All these things I shouldn't really be saying, but most people that are supposed to be on the portal are already on the portal. Those that don't want to be on the portal are not there. We look into your portal and we see where you're working. And with that one, the next thing is your licenses will be suspended. This is where we are going to. So that, and that is aside from the fact that we have upped the benchmark for the opening of health tech schools of medical labs. Now, if we are talking about the university, it is the same thing. We have now brought out laws that if you are a lecturer in a university, the best you can do is to be an adjunct in another university. There was a time that people used to be adjuncts in 3 or 4 or 5 universities. That era is gone. But you should also understand that on our own, part of our duty is to try to ensure that our colleagues, when they finish, are employed or are employed. As at now, we are a little constrained. We're trying to reduce the numbers of these universities. And that is because the drain that medical lab sciences is experiencing today will alarm any normal government. But I don't know if our own governments are normal, but it will alarm any government. Suffice to say that all good standards come through my own table. I can tell you, just even from the council in the last 2 years has lost more than 10 staff. And I'm talking about just the council. On a daily basis, a total of 40 to 50 letters of good standing come to my table. Government has noticed this. And if you listen to what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying, he's pressurizing the ministry to pressurize the professionals to continue to produce more graduates. Just today, I heard that almost 5 departments in the University of Lagos have been shut because of professional. They didn't say because doctors have gone. No, they said because medical professionals have left the country from that area. So you see, it's a dicey game as of now. But I can assure you, once these things stabilize, council is also looking into that problem. Now, another thing on the final note is that every school, whether it's a school of health tech or a school or a university, each and every one of them are given benchmarks. Now, after the accreditation process, depending on what you have, because when we go to your university or your school of health tech, the award of number of students is dependent on your facilities and your equipment, as well as your manpower. It is not just either or. These three things come into play. So take for instance, if you are at university and you have a class for 100 learners, the whole of your 100 learners, that is to say that you shouldn't have more than 40 students. Because council feels that if you have more than 40 students, how do they assimilate during lecture? But you find that from university, they have 1,000 or more students that they have brought in. And finally, when they are indexing the students, because that is the instrument council uses, you must index your students at a certain level. And the number of students you index is directly proportional to the number council allots you. And this indexing is done on the portal. You know, look, we don't do it these days manually. So once you get to your allotted figure, the portal shuts down. Now, all those students that you have brought into your school and you have collected money from remain in limbo. They are not going to be registered by the council. Now we are in a country, we are in Nigeria. If one of those people's children is a senator or is linked up with one person or the other, pressure is mounted on the council. These are things that are reality today. But these are the methods and the instruments that council tries to use to minimize proliferation of scientists being pushed out of the university and technicians being pushed out from technical colleges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let's Bright. Can you please ask the next question?
Yes, sir. Sir, we would like to know what plans does MLSTN have as regards upscaling the training of MLS students to reflect current technological and knowledge realities? And also, why does MLSTN not organize training for members on novel aspects of professional practice as compared to other sister regulatory bodies, sir?
If I heard you well, because you are catching, you have asked why, how does the council want to?
Okay.
No, please come again. Please come again.
Okay, I said the question is, what plans does MLCN have as regards of scaling the training of MLS students to reflect current technological and knowledge realities? And also, why does MLCN not organize training for members on novel aspects of professional practice as compared to other sister regulatory bodies, sir?
Okay. The first question is, now what council tries to do is in line with our mandate, and that is, it says in our mandate that from time to time, council is to look at what the curriculum of her students and to either upscale or downscale, as the case may be. But you need to understand that what council does is to initiate this thing. Council can't do it on her own because we will require intellectuals. I'm not saying that you don't have intellectuals in council, but we will require people that teach these things in school to come in and within the ambit of council guidance, bring in new things. And I'll give you an example. At the time I was trained, there was nothing like QMS as on its own, quality management system. However, in everything we did at that time, quality management systems were embedded into everything we did without calling it quality management. It was, we were always doing, these are things we were doing. You do something, you document, you replicate. But all those things were being done. However, over time, these things were lost. So what council did was say, look, let's add quality management system to the curriculum. The same thing that we did when we said, let's also add supply chain management into the curriculum. So as from time to time, as we deem fit, we add these things into the curriculum. The curriculum of the university has really expanded, and it has also taken into cognizance things on the molecular level and the immunological level. These are things that over the time we have introduced. Again, what council did about the addition of some of these new novel ideas, that is when you ask why is it that council doesn't organize all these things as other sister agencies, regulatory bodies do. What we did was that we advertised and we trained a bunch of people. You see, if you leave all these things within the ambit of council, council cannot do everything. So council has to sublet certain things out. So what we did was to train a group of people who from time to time sit down and bring out things that are necessary to be taught to our people. And you find out that when CPDs are being done, these people must be on board. These people must be on board in that CPD that is being processed. That way, we have uniformity of purpose, so to speak. Now, we have found out that these people have not been that forthcoming. Again, that is why whenever anybody is organizing a CP of whatever nature, it is council that gives credit loads. We look at it, we check what you're doing. Does it fit the trend? Does it help? Even if it doesn't help, but it still borders up on things that you're already doing and they're trying to brush you up or bring in new things, that is, to that effect, that is how we award credit units. Now you find out that any CPD that is being done that is expansively practical based, these are the ones that gain much more CPD credit. And this is basically because whatever we do in medical lab is majorly practical based. I hope that answers the question. If not, you can throw more.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Greg, let me say one or two things there also, just to add. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Now, like Mr. Greg has mentioned, council is a regulatory agency. We regulate the training, okay, of the training of medical lab scientists, assistants, and associates in the country. So, and to do that, council depends on intellectuals, like you mentioned, from within council and also outside council, stakeholders, organizations, and every other person in that sector. the universities, the training, the college and School of Health Technology, and everybody to come in and contribute their own quota. So if there is a need for review of curriculum, there is an education committee in the board. There's an education department in council, and there are also, now there is no board, but there is a education committee where that still sits on issues regarding education and training. So if there is a need to review those things, those committees sit down and they meet from time to time once to control, oh, this practice is obsolete. You mentioned things, and the practice of the training of lab science, your curriculum has changed over time. I believe what was taught 20 years ago is not probably the way it's being taught now, because there are changes in the curriculum and these things are replicated down. I am not in that department, so I can't say exactly where the curriculum is, but I know the last maybe within 5 years plus, they've reviewed. There's been one or two reviews, probably in the training for MLT for technicians. I know because I've heard them talk about it. So that happens for that generalistic training. When it comes to individuals themselves, the practitioners who are already practicing, the council depends on people who have this technology, who have studied technology, to come forward and say, oh, this thing we want to organize, like you mentioned, CPDs. And council will look at the content of what you're coming to do. And if it meets the requirements to be considered a CPD activity, we give you the go-ahead for you to go advertise and source for people who are interested in learning what you are doing, and you organize your training and we award CPD credits, and the people benefit from that knowledge you're sharing. If for it also, council also in a position to nominate or recommend people for training on specific things based on expertise, experience, and as things may come up, these individuals also benefit from it. I know in the last one year, somebody was mandated or selected to go do get certification for microscopy, because they want to consider a person an asset to train or empower, or also empower other people in that like mind, so that we have that capacity building from the perspective of in country and also as a profession and recognition in the country. Okay, so for people who are interested in it, because sometimes in this grand scheme of things, when we are talking with these stakeholders internationally, they ask you for those things come to play, and it's the opportunity for such training. Council will also meet with stakeholders for somebody who, based on expertise and experience and practice, we can facilitate that person to benefit from that thing, so that with the goal that when he comes back, he'll be able to impact other people who are probably in that line and in that field, and that capacity can be built and shared. So, but we depend on people to go out and get this information, come and we sit down and we talk. And I'm happy we're talking about it now. So if there's a novel technology that you think you need to impact to your colleagues, based on how things are being done, that's not being done now, you can come to council. Council will sit down and look at what you're presenting and probably encourage you. People who come here, I know I was in a meeting about 3-4 months ago, where they're trying to build like a learning platform for people who are interested. You just go, just like you have Udemy for tech and every other person, you're also having like a platform like that is being recognized, and council will look at it and say, oh, and once council defines that, oh, this is a good source of information for training for mental scientists, we will give the go ahead. The person goes and runs along with this as a commercial idea and gets people, oh, if you want to get knowledge or get impacted on the new ways of doing things, you just go there and sign up, and you get the backing that, oh, council like recognize that this is good and people can actually sign up for it. And we use that to also buttress or improve people's capacity and performance. So council is always open to stand with anybody who has that light to share with the practitioners around all over the place. And we encourage everybody to come and reach out to us. As if you're doing it as a CPD, you're doing it as a business, okay, you're doing it as a means of a training or something, we can always look at it and see how we can support it or critique it or make you improve it, so that it becomes standardized and something every other person will benefit from. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ambrose. Thank you very much, because you've just brought some other things to my mind. Again, if you remember, in recent times, our our colleagues that are histologists, we now found out that there could be a pathway for them to legally read slides. So we got in contact with some histologists that were keen, and we brought in a professor from, I think it was Hong Kong, and he trained some people. After training, they sat for the exam, and once they sat for the international exam and they passed, they were able to read slides legally. This is something that was only a prism for a medical doctor. So we do this thing. Again, at the time of COVID, we came up and said, and told government, we can't have kids flooding the country in this manner. And that there is a need for us to evaluate these kids and validate them. Without going into too much talk, different agencies also came up. About 5 agencies came. No need to mention them. They came out and said, no, they also do validation. And government now said, okay, come out with your validation protocol and submit it to the World Health Organization. Let World Health Organization tell us which protocol seems to be the best. And the agency submitted and council submitted our own. And by the time it was looked at and validated, World Health Organization said, no, it is Medical Lab Science Council that has the expertise. Once it was clear that we had the expertise, we brought in our team. This team included old seasoned scientists and new ones that could also take over. Now, it is not beholden on council to all the time organize this thing. No, we train, we ensure that people are trained, and these people should also train other people so that there is a continuity of this service. Again, you find out that I have been privileged to be part of this evaluation team, not just of COVID, but also of other teams. Take, for instance, when we do post-market validation. These are novel ideas that have come up and have been sustained over time. And over the time, we have also been able to remove some kits from the algorithm, drop some kits for the algorithm due to our new and found expertise. And it will interest you to know that over the years, council has trained quite a number of people. I no longer do all these things, but you see, they are all being done in the council. It is done in Abuja. It's not in our lab in Abuja, while others are done in our lab in Lagos, the IVD. So these things are ongoing, but no one should expect that council will do everything ourselves. We set the pace and we allow people to take over from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I'll try to merge some questions so we can save time. So I'll direct this question to Mr. Ambrose first, and then maybe Dr. Greg can come in if there's more to say. So it's on the issue of the validity of licenses. Now, I think today, students from Lautech were inducted. Yesterday, we had about 2 schools. Last week, we had, I think, NDU or thereabouts. And then on the professional licenses, what we have for expiry is December 31st. Now, so the question is, why can't our licenses be valid for 12 months from the date of issuance? So if you issue the license on, say, 30th November, why can't it be valid to 30th November next year? That's the first part of the question. Second part of the question is it possible for us to have, instead of having annual practicing licenses, can we renew our licenses biannually, triannually, or say, I know that council's licenses fees are categorized based on years of practice from induction. So can we say for the 1 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years, the categories like that? Can you just renew your license for that period of time? And then I know you've touched on this before now, the issue of having middlemen when processing licenses. I believe we've touched on that already, so I'll not ask that again. And then what is the duration for, say, I process my license, I do all I need to do on the portal, I get my soft copy. What is the duration for the hard copy to come out? And is it possible for these hard copies to be sent to state offices of council so it makes pickup easy? I recently, when myself began a courier service to help with this, so I think that can handle some of this stuff. I believe that from what I know, I think there's currently some kind of handshake between council and MSF in that regard. So basically, it's on the issue of the dates, the validity of a license. Why can't we make it 12 months as opposed to every license expiring on December 31st, no matter when you do it or when you get it? And then what is the possibility of having licenses renewed for longer periods of time, not just annually? Mr. Ambrose, you can start, and then Greg can come in if he has more to add.
Regarding the licensing, I think it's in your licensing guide, the act that the licenses expire the 31st of December. Okay, it's not a 1-year license from when it was issued. No, it starts counting from January 1st and it expires on the 31st of December. So if you must practice the next year, you need to get another license, although you're given a grace period of first quarter, typically, to actually get your license. But with technology coming up first, people should be able to get the license from 1st of January once you make payment and you meet the requirements. Payment, and the requirement is not just by making payments. You also have to have the CPD component to it, just added into the requirements by the board and all that. So that's it. Then I think the second part regarding the license, you're talking about what again?
Talking about the duration for.
Okay, now if once you request for your license and it goes through and you get the online copy, your license is printed within 24 hours and sent for registrar to sign. Now registrar, as part of security, doesn't want the signing to be automated. Okay, as part of checks, one of the checks we have in-house. So it has to be signed. Now, so if the registrar is around, okay, he signs licenses every day. Okay, it's only when probably it's an official assignment that the licenses will wait until he comes. When he comes, he now signs them. Then when he signs them, so assuming the license was printed today and taken to him today, the license will come out that same day, okay, to be ready for dispatch. Like Mr. Greg also mentioned during the time he was doing a presentation, once the license has been signed, we started scanning the licenses signed to the practitioner email addresses we have on the portal. Okay, so all licenses that were signed today, by tomorrow, it will have been scanned and sent so that you could have a soft copy, okay, which you can use. Then for now, we are not couriering the licenses to people because of, number one, the cost. And also, most times, people want to pick up their licenses. They want to be in charge of it. Currently, if we send it using courier, there's like little or no tracking involved. But that's a discussion we are trying to have to see the possibility. If you want a license courier to you, you have to pay for the cost of it. Okay, or we find a way to go around that. We're making sure also that you could also track the license in transit, so you make sure that it comes to you. If it's going to be delivered, you make arrangement to pick it up from the courier, or have the courier delivered to you at your doorstep. If you have people who can, sending it as a group has its own disadvantages. One of the disadvantages, people come and pick license for people. Okay, and you will now have a challenge of the license has been printed, has been signed and made available for pickup, and somebody has picked up the license, and the person who has the license is nobody has picked up for him or her. Yes, most times they sign it out, and he cannot. Mr. A or Mr. John signed the license for you, and he doesn't know who Mr. John is. So it becomes an issue of who authorizes, who gives the authority for someone to pick a license for. So even if you do it as the state organized those who are going to the same state, or that, you still have to have the challenge of who picked up somebody's license and who gave the person authority or mandate to pick the license for the person. So we still have that challenge. So, and it's something we are trying to see how best to go around it. So if we suggestions, if you have, you could also pass to us so we know how that can also happen, so that people get their licenses. The license comes out normally within 24 hours after it has been requested and approved. Okay, except where the registrar is not around, and the registrar will always be around every week. So most times he's there throughout a week. He doesn't travel, but sometimes even if he travels, he comes back by the weekend to sign the license. And once he's signed, it's available for scanning and dispatch.
Right, thank you.
And to add, just a minute, let me just add, if you don't mind. Can I add?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, the first thing that we rely on in council is our law. And the law states very clear that license shall be from 1st of January to the 31st of December. For that to change, and it is also stated there that it's for a duration of 1 year. For that to change, we will need to carry our law back to the National Assembly to bring in that change. And once we carry our act back to the National Assembly, it is open for bastardization by any group that has the zeal to cause destruction to medical lab. That is one. So the issue of extending our license from 1 year to 2 or 3 years does not come up until we amend the law. Secondly, if your license is ready, if you have instructed us in any way or any form that your license should be sent to the zone, your license will be couriered to the zone at no cost to you. To the zone, it will be couriered at no cost to you, to the zone. However, if you want the license couriered to you as a person, maybe your house or your address or whatever, the cost of courier will be borne by you. So what we try to do, like I said before, is that every license that is produced, since I think about October or November, yes, October, has been scanned, because we had to work with ICT so that the person that is scanning can peep into each person's portal, collect the person's email and send to the person. So every license that has been produced thereafter has been scanned to the owner's email address. However, if anybody wants any license that is prepared to be scanned to them, it is scanned to them. Now, you spoke about NDU and Lautech that just organized their induction ceremony. Because these licenses in our law have a span from January to December, no matter the time you are inducted, your license ends on the 31st of December. Now, if you finish your internship close to December, let's say December 12th, you finish your internship December 12th, and you don't require your license for anything, council will not charge you for that year. it goes. However, if you require your license for that year in that small space, the onus will be on you to pay for it. So these are the things that inhibit or strong arm us from being a little bit soft in what we do. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you. So it's a matter of the MLSCN Act. Thank you very much, sir, for that answer. I'll leave MLS Bright to ask the next question, and then we'll take a couple more questions. The ones that came into the chat box. Most of them are similar, so we made some together, and then we'll try to end as early as possible. So MLS Bright, please.
Okay. Dr. Greg, sir, we would still like to know about charges. Please, sir, why are MLCN charges for similar services high compared to other sister regulatory bodies? We would like to know, sir.
I don't know, or let me throw a question to you. What are the charges that council charges that are less in any other regulatory body? And is there any other regulatory body that charges higher than us? Have you done that research?
All right, sir. The questions are from members, so we're just repeating what they asked.
Okay, good.
But
the
person that asked the question was comparing the prices council charged to I think RRCN, and the person made specific mention of the charges for accreditation. That was the specific mention the person made.
Okay. Accreditation of schools, most likely.
I believe
accreditation of schools. Yes.
Yeah, I believe that was referring to.
Yes. I don't know. Prior to this time, prior to now, let's say last year, our charges were fairly okay. But with what has come in now, increase in fuel price, ballooning of ticket prices, and the need to conduct this exercise as speedily and as smartly as possible. Take, for instance, if we are going for accreditation of a school, a university, we are going to cover not just that department. We won't just cover just the department. We'll also cover other departments that department also use. Take, for instance, you're going to look at the Department of Medical Lab. You also look at the library that they use. How do they use it? You also look at the clinic. You also look at all those aspects that those particular people have interplay with. And to do that, you will need a slightly large team of maybe 3 or 4 people. And on that team, you will have 2 or 3 professors that will go around a university because they know the workings and the loops and everything. That will go around that premises within 2 days and finish up. Now, when you take into cognizance each DTA, the DTA for each of these people, the DTA of each of these people, it comes to about, take for instance, let us use good real figure. If you are a level 15 officer, not co-head, level 15 officer to 17 officer, you have a DTA of about 37 naira a day. For the 3 days,
37,000
naira a day. That's your DTA, 37 naira a day. And that has to do with accommodation. Yes, 37,000. Yes, that is your feeding. I'm not talking about your transportation. Transportation is different. The transportation is different. Your transportation will be your ticket, and the ticket is pegged. Maybe it is about, it depending on the organization. Like council will pay you close to 70,000 naira for your ticket, which doesn't really even cover your ticket. So now, by the time you take a flight to and fro, and we give you 70,000, whatever is left on top, you will still write to council, and council will reimburse you. Now, by the time you calculate this totality of money, each person that goes on that trip is receiving close to 3 to 400,000 for a trip on that level. Now, multiply it by 4 people. What does it come to? This is apart from other things that will be taken on that trip. Everybody is going to have a check. Everybody is going to different things. Then we are also going to pay for internal transportation. Your transportation from the hotel, from the airport to where you're going, then from your hotel to the site of where you're going to do whatever you're going to do. By the time you combine all this money, you find out that your cost of operation has ballooned, has really ballooned. And I would like lab scientists to also know that everything that council has done for licensure, the cost that we have engaged for licensure has not been passed to our clients. Whatever we were charging since 1996 is what we are still charging for our license till today. Irrespective of the new features that we have got here, it will interest you to know that the license we are producing is just not a license. It has a lot of security features. There's a barcode there, first of all. There's a special app that is produced for council. Once you use that app and you put it on the barcode, the true owner of that license comes out. Then there are other security water features that are there, that if they are not there, it will be easy to detect that this license is fake. So it is not as if council just goes out to charge. Any increment that we do, we always try to justify it. Why are you increasing this? We will bring out whatever the cost of doing that activity will cost us. And from there, we extrapolate. Never trying to bring too much pain, but trying to be realistic. So I don't really know what other people charge. That is what every other person charges. But I know, for instance, if you're talking about like the letter of good conduct, I know what council charges, and I know also what pharmacy council and medical council charge. If you go and look at it, our prices are minimal compared to theirs. I will challenge whoever asks that question to go and find out and then let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I think we actually have a lot of questions, but a lot of them are similar. So I'm going to merge them because we have spent quite a while, and I would like us to address everything we can address. So most questions we have on the issue of licensure mostly. So what we have, there are not really questions per se. They are mostly complaints. So we have a couple of complaints from people saying they have. Let me get some of these complaints. Okay, so people that are still paying with remitter, for example. Somebody says person has paid with remitter since 2012 till now. Another person has said since 2013, person has paying with remitter till now. And okay, but this other person is not remitter. That person is a specific issue. Okay, yeah. So somebody said the person paid with remitter for the person's license since 20th of March this month, this year rather, and has not received the license till now. Then this other person is saying that person has paid through the branch office at Owerri since 2013 and hasn't gotten any of the hard copy licenses till now. Since 2013 till now. So this kind of issues where people pay either through remitter or through various branch offices for a while. Before, I think that was even before the automation till now, and they've not gotten their licenses. How can these issues be resolved? Is there like a help desk that can get in touch with at council that help resolve these issues and possibly track these payments and all of those things and get them solved? Or is there a solution they can get here? And then someone was also asking if it's possible to convert provisional license, permanent license via the portal, the whole process via the portal. Is that an option that is available for practitioners currently? And then some people also complain that they've been trying to sign up on the portal for a while now, several months, and they are having issues. So how can the council provide assistance to them for these things? So people that have paid the remitter for a while and have paid through the various zonal offices of council and haven't gotten their licenses for some up to 10 years, they've paid every year according to the question they asked, how do they get this issue solved? Is it possible for people like you just finished internship, you want to get permanent license? Is it possible to do the whole process by yourself on the portal from the registration to you getting the license? And also, for people that are having issues signing up on the portal, how can they be assisted so they can do that seamlessly? So those are the I've merged all of those questions into one, so we can get that answered and then maybe merge the other questions as one and then call it a night for today. So please, as Mr. Ambrose and Mr. Greg, can you please just briefly give us some answers so we can get one more question and then end the session for today.
Okay, let me go first. Payments that are made with remittance are made to a government through the government portal. That is how it is. Remitter is a government portal, and these payments that are made at times are not even specific. You know, you just make a payment and then you say miscellaneous, and you say 25,000 for miscellaneous. You didn't say it's license, you didn't say it's that or that. So it is difficult to even sort out those things by the council. Now, what we expect that whenever you make a payment through remitter, you package that payment and you send it to the council. When it gets, because if it doesn't get to the council, you don't know who has paid. But when it gets to the council, and there's a kind of cover letter saying, I am so and so. My RA number is so and so. My payments are for this, for that, for this, for that. It becomes very simple. Now, if you have done that ab initio to the council, it becomes easy to sort out. If you have sent varied ones to varied people within the council before you send it through the council portal, it becomes very difficult to trace your file, because your file might be with that person, it might be with this person that you have formally contacted. I'll give you an example. There was this particular case that came up, and the person contacted 3 directors to deal with the file. And this director will come, that one, because it just so happened that one day we sat down and we were gisting, and then the person called. And the director said, this person has called the donor. What is it? I said, this person called you. I said, I also called 3 different people for one case. Now, if we didn't sit down together, we won't even know that This file was with one of the directors trying to solve the problem, while the other directors were trying to look for the file to solve the problem. And the file, next thing, the person will say, yeah, my file is missing. So I implore people, when you have paid your remittance, please send it directly to council portal. Do not think that you must have somebody in council to get your license. Yes, at times, you might need someone in the council when you want something speedily done. That is Nigeria. You want something speedily done, then well, that is not the normal way we do it. Then whatever happens, it's your own cup of tea. But if you do things the way you're supposed to do, parcel your remitter with a cover letter explaining exactly what it is for and stating your RA number and name, it will be done accordingly. Secondly, when you are sending remitter receipts to council, please ensure this is for people that have backlogs, that don't have licenses, prior to 2021, because you must get your license in 2021 before you are put on the portal. Please ensure that you send with your payment send along with your payment your CPD or your penalty payment. It might interest you that your penalty payment will change. There might be an upward review. And that is because council looks at it that if you're going to do a CPD, it will cost you much more than the penalties were given. So now it is encouraging people to just pay CPD penalty instead of really getting the benefit of the CPD themselves. But that's an aside. So once you package it that way and things are complete, it becomes easier. Now, in my own department, we have a stopgap between incomplete payment. Clients that have incomplete payment. If your file is sent for preparation of whatever after payment, and somewhere along the line, especially in records, it is discovered that your payment is incomplete, the files are sent to a section in my department where somebody calls you. A call is placed to you, and you are told that this is the medical absence catalog, okay? And that you requested for a license for so and so. 1918, you paid this, you are still owing this. 1915, you paid this, you are still owing this. This. Please, once you have made your complete payment, send a text message to this number and we will react. If that person doesn't send anything, does not tell us anything, or delays for a certain period, let's say a week or even less, your files are sent back to the cabinet. So that if anybody is looking for your file, the person will find it in the cabinet instead of keeping it on somebody's table. This is a very big reason why licenses are delayed. There are times that I have even called our practitioners and said, please, on your portal, you don't have a passport picture. Please, could you put your passport picture? The person says, I will call you later. And the person doesn't call. Next thing to tell me that he has put his passport picture or he hasn't put it. Next thing the person says, I put my passport picture 2 weeks ago. I don't have my license. I didn't wish. How will I know? It is onus is also on you to inform council that you have done the needful that council has asked you to do. These are the simple and little reasons that cause delay in licensure. However, I cannot put the whole blame on the clerk. Our zonal offices also have some challenges. There are certain times that things are sent to the zonal offices and it never gets to the council. There are also times that it really gets to the council. And instead of people processing it, they just find a place and dump it. Again, this dumping is also done because people send multiple requests of the same thing. So by the time you bring out, I've seen this thing before, you bring out this one, you see this thing before. And then maybe somewhere along the line, the guy misses it and just pushes everything to the side. So council herself has her own issues, which we are working towards. Because now any memo or any mail that comes in that is assigned to somebody, it is written against your name so that it can be tracked. So we're trying to solve this problem. So anybody that has this challenge, that you have not gotten license for quite some years and you have your complete payment, please scan it to info@mlscn.gov.ng. Just scan it there with a cover letter explaining your travel, identifying yourself along with your RA number. It will be there. Thank you very much. I think there's a second question. There is a second question to you.
Is for how if you can process
conversion of license. Conversion of license. Yes, you said yes, permanent license. Yes. Now, what happens is that as what now the provisional license is prepared manually for now. Right now, we are trying to transit to MLC, MLA licenses. Have just entered the portal also. After that, provisional licenses will also enter the portal, where everybody can pay on the portal, do everything on the portal, even as a pre-inductee. Pay on the portal and get your license by your own self. You don't have to go through your school or whatever. That time is coming. However, when you've got your manual provisional license, as soon as you are inducted, your name is moved to the portal. So that once you have finished your induction, or you need to renew your provisional license, you will be able to go to the portal, pay for your provisional license, and get it as any other person will. This process is ongoing. It's not as if it is there and ready, especially for renewal of provisional license. However, for your permanent licenses now, this is the trend. Once you have finished your internship and you have submitted all your documentation, in other words, you have submitted your logbook, you have submitted your appointment letter, and payments and other things, your name is placed on the portal. And then you are called and told to upload your details, either through your school or through, sometimes you have an intermediary, or you're told directly. Just go to your portal, upload your passport picture, fill, and then you let us know that you're finished. Once you're finished, then the next process kicks in. You just send your things, verify them, ICT will verify them, and then you request for your license. But to say there's an immediate exchange from provisional to permanent, no. Because there are certain things you must submit. One, your logbook, showing that you have completed your 12 months, please, 12 calendar months, not 11, 12 calendar months of internship. Majorly, it's sections from chemistry, microbiology, hematology, and histology. Must, these four. Where you have done internship in a place that you cannot access histology, the onus is on you and the place training you to find you a place nearby that you will do your histology and be graded by those people in that lab. So these four portions must always be completed. When they are not completed, you might be asked most likely to do that part, which is compulsory. So once the logbook gets to us and we verify that you have done your 1 year internship and other things, then the process can go on. As time goes on, when we expand our website, we are going to expand our website. And once we do that, then we can now accommodate emailed, we can accommodate emailed emailed pages of your logbook and your employment letter. Do you understand? Then once that is done, then these things can be processed without you even doing or coming to the council. So that is what will happen. But I am sure with time as we go on and we upgrade our technology, I'm sure new things will come. So Ambrose, you can take it from there. Thank you.
And listen, so I've answered most of everything there. I don't know what I'm going to be answering again.
All right, let me just round off with the last set of questions. There's a question I don't really understand, but I'll ask it. Maybe you understand it better.
Okay.
So the question is, can council, I think this is merge tech and files or portal upgrade for scientists. Person is saying that he knows of an MLA that fixed a technician license and then got admitted to school abroad. So what can council do to mitigate such things? And then is it also possible for somebody to check the person's debt profile without having to like contact somebody in council? And then finally, this is from a student as also an MLT, a DE student. So the person is saying that, and the person sent the letter from council to me. For indexing, council requires these MLTs that are currently on admission to send some documents through their school, and part of the document is their license, their MLT license. And person is saying person has not gotten the person's license for the past 2 years, and person has been paying. So how best can such person go about that? So those are like the last set of questions we have, and then we can wrap up for the night.
So I think I'll answer the question like this: when council issues the licenses, believing that it's be used for purpose of which to issue, and unfortunately, like you mentioned, people fake these things, and although we've set up modalities to try to detect fakes when they are like this new license now, we could authenticate if it's a fake license or a new one or a real license. If I know who it was issued to, when it was issued, and the purpose, all those information we can find out. But unfortunately, when the jurisdiction goes beyond Nigeria, most of these countries don't even do the checks properly. We don't have those problems with organizations, establishment in the US, in the UK, but in African countries where they are not really, we're going to have those challenges, because by right, if somebody presents a license, you should be able to contact that organization that issued that license to find out if this person authenticates that this person is who he claims he is, and he has been authenticated, or he's where he's coming from. But you said the question, I saw it in the chat, Liberia, obviously, maybe, and it's probably university or a workplace there, they don't do their checks properly. But we don't have those challenges in the US, in the UK, and other Ireland and the rest, because those ones were always right. When you present your documents in those countries, they always write to council for council to verify if they know this person and the extent to which this person was trained and all that, and will respond accordingly. But if the person fake, maybe he has noticed that there's a lapse in that country, that they don't check things, then that happens. We have that kind of challenges when we have foreign graduates training in this place, because when they come now, we still have to evaluate their training, because we notice that most of these countries don't do their checks properly, and we have to live with it. So in terms of checking to make sure that licenses are very valid and authentic, council has those in place, and we respond to people who inquire of us to authenticate those things. And we've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that. So that handles that. I think Mr. Greg can shed more light because his department is one responsible for attending to those letters and queries when they come.
Okay. What happens is that whenever any license is used in any country other than Nigeria, even in Nigeria, a verification check is ordered. We're getting a lot of them, where you apply to a country, even West, HCPC, transcripts, the same thing. They are also verified. So even when the country gets your transcript or gets your license, they use the back channel and send it back to us and ask us to please verify this license. Please verify this person's date of registration. All those things, we do them. Now, in some countries that don't do, they employ people that fake results. It will interest you to know that every HCPC letter that leaves the council is sent back. I'm sure you have, most of the young scientists should have told, is sent back to the council for verification. And because of this trend, that's part of the reasons why we introduced this new technology, where licenses can even be checked by other people other than us, where the authenticity of the license can be checked using a special barcode, and the original owner comes out. But you will agree with me, no matter how delicate you do things in Nigeria, people will always still find a way around what you do. So as we go on and we see new innovations, we also try to find new checks. This is what normally happens. So if somebody in Liberia says someone was caught using fake license or whatever, it is because they have not had recourse to sending these things back for us to check. Again, so that we don't go there, I saw a question that was saying something about double intention. We encourage every facility that takes intent to, as soon as they have finished their selection process, to send the names to council so that we will check if these people have done internship before. Just the last week, we got almost 10 people from one facility that had done internship. And we send them the information. Get these people arrested and then charge them to court for doing whatever they are doing, because by council's law and policy, it is illegal. There is a penalty. There's a penalty for doing that. Because you find out that when you do internship twice, you take up position for those that are waiting in the ranks. These days, you see people waiting for up to 2-3 years before they do internship. So we encourage everybody that is taking internee to immediately they have selected their internee to send that list to info@mlscn.gov.ng, and we will get back to you, authenticating those that have done internship. Thank you.
So there's one more question that was not attended to, Abi. So, is it possible for a person to get an ideal person's debt profile, debt without reaching out to anybody council, and then for for MLTs that have not gotten their license for a couple of years now, even if they've paid, what process can they follow to rectify that?
Now, any MLT that has paid for license over the years that hasn't gotten license should still follow the same process. Package all your remitter payments. Luckily, they don't even pay, MLTs don't pay penalty. Package your payment with a cover letter stating who you are and your MLT number and send to council. Your licenses will be handled. Now, they should also understand, MLT should also understand that their licenses have also gone online. They are now having licenses with their pictures also. So at a certain point in time, they will be asked to fill their portal and to upload their passport picture. Please and please, this is for MLTs and scientists. Do not divulge your password to anybody. Before they start changing pictures or putting different pictures, we have seen people using other people's RA numbers and stuff like that. Please be careful. Then the other question you asked was,
how can you like know the amount of debt you are owing per se without? Do you have to reach somebody in council before you can find that out?
No, you don't. Now you don't need to do that. If you are on the portal, every year your debt is automatically prepared for you on the portal. Take it into cognizance how many years you've done, your last payment on the portal, and whatever you need to do. Now, if you are pre-portal, you are a pre-portal client, you will still need to write to the council. Don't reach out to anybody. You don't have to reach out to anybody. Just write. I've received so many letters like that. Just write. I have not paid for so and so time. Please, can I know my indebtedness? My RA number is this and my name is that. With your email or your telephone number, tell us, send you a WhatsApp or whatever. We'll send it to you and we'll give you your bill. You don't need to select somebody. You see people come to council and they want something done for them. They sit down. I say, what are you doing here? What do you need? They say, no, I'm waiting for. They have specific clients. So they are the people that are shortchanging themselves. You don't have to. Just write the council and we'll do it for you. Thank you.
All right, sir. Finally, before we go, categorically, what is the penalty for repeating internship based on the laws council have? What is the actual penalty?
You will agree with me that it becomes very tenuous, difficult to start persecuting your colleagues, especially your junior colleagues. The penalty for repeating internship is the seizure of your license. And it could go all the way by removing your name from the register. These are the penalties. Now, you may look at it as extreme, but it spans from seizure of your license, and you face a the disciplinary board. That before you even, if there is a board, a committee will be set by the council to investigate your case. After investigation of your case, a brief is prepared about you and is sent to the board. When the board disciplinary council meets, they look into your case. It will interest our clients to know that within the board, there is a disciplinary unit that also has a representative of the courts. I think it's the High Court, where you face the High Court, this panel, and you might be jailed. We haven't progressed to that level. Council has not gotten the lever to progress to that level. But with the trend that we're seeing, where one person can do 3 intentions, we might get to that. But these are the penalties that are in our law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that's all we'll do for tonight. We spent a lot of time, much more than I expected we'll spend, but it's important to try to clarify as much as possible. Thank you, Dr. Greg. Thank you, Mr. Ambrose, for your time and your involvement. I would leave. I would like to cede the floor to my co-moderator if he has any last words before I call for a vote of thanks from the National Vice President, Northeast to MLSF, MLS Rahila. So, Bright, do you have any last words before I call MLS Rahila for vote of thanks? And then we'll do a closing prayer and we'll call it a night. Right. Anything from you? Okay. I think maybe he's having some issues. MLS Rahila, please, can you give us a vote of thanks and then we can proceed to the closing prayer for today?
Okay.
MLS Mariam Adebayo would take the closing prayer after the vote of thanks, please. MLS Rahila, please, the floor is yours.
All right. Good evening once again. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, VP. We can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, yes. First of all, I want to give God the glory. We appreciate God for giving us the enablement to organize this program, just like we've been doing for the past months, over a year. So first, we want to appreciate the leadership of this forum through the lead of MLS Jegede, the national president, and all who put heads together to see that to the success of this program today. We really appreciate you all. We want to appreciate our guest, Dr. Greg. So we appreciate you. He's the director of Scientist Regulation and Discipline, MLSCN. We appreciate you, sir. We pray that God will bless you and keep blessing you, and all the virtues that have been taken out from you this evening shall be replaced by God Almighty. And then we want to also appreciate the second speaker, our second guest, Mr. Ambrose, head of ICT, MLSCN. So we appreciate you too. We pray that God will bless you and you will keep taking from you next time. Also want to appreciate all YMLS in attendance, both home and at home and abroad, and all medical lab scientists across the country who are in attendance, especially those who stay till the end. It's not easy to leave your sleep and stay till the end of the program. We really appreciate you all, because without you, there will be nobody to speak to, and the program will not be a success. So we appreciate you all. We appreciate everybody. And on behalf of the National President, YMLSF, I want to wish each and every one of us a wonderful night rest. Good night, everyone.
Let's Mariam, please do us a closing prayer, a Muslim closing prayer, because we did the Christian opening prayer, so we can call it a day. Let's Mariam Adebayo.
Okay. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we thank God for the beginning and the end of this program. Special shout out to the organizers of this program, the YMLSF presidents, the other YMLSF ESCOs in attendance, and also to the medical laboratory scientists in attendance. We pray that the Almighty blesses those who have contributed specially to the development and the progress and the success of this program. I wish you all a good night rest. Good night, everyone.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Thank you all. Be rest assured we'll keep engaging and we'll keep engaging relevant stakeholders.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, my VP North Central.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, other colleagues.
This program is a monthly program. Stay tuned for the December episode, which will be the 25th. Thank you, my ESCOs, my fellow ESCOs. Thank you, members.
Thank you all for organizing this program.
Yeah, you're welcome. Keep giving us feedback. Your feedback will encourage us to do more. Thank you, and good night.
Just our Amaria.
How?
Mr. President, your time is up. Go and perform your duty, sir.